Hola, mi gente bella. Hey, beautiful people. I'm so excited to be here. I just got back from being away and I was working and also resting. And I said to myself, yes, the new moon in Scorpio went by and I didn't do an episode. That's okay. Um, so we're between the new moon in Scorpio and the full moon that's coming up. The new moon in Scorpio is still relevant because that energy is going to affect us for the next 6 months. So I came in to talk about many different things. It's not just about the new moon in Scorpio, and it's not necessarily about the full moon coming up. It's more about where do we find ourselves now in this particular place, right? It's November. It's November 25th, I think. I don't even know. Yeah, it's November 25th. It is towards the end of the year. We've already celebrated the new witches year for the people who celebrate that. We celebrated the thinning of the veils connected to our ancestors. Though if you know me, you know we can connect to our ancestors anytime and any day. But I wanted to come in because I think that when we find ourselves around November 25th, it's almost the end of a year, of a human, everyday, regular, common year, not a witch year. We start to, we're tired, a lot of us. We're drained from the year. We may be excited or actually terrified of family time, right? Depends on the year and it depends on the relationships, right? And what's happening. And we may be arriving towards the end of the year a little tired because that's just what happens to all of us. We had to fight the good fight. We've dealt with a lot this year. Not that we haven't dealt with a lot the last years. I think we've been dealing with a lot since forever. And then it's only gotten even more intense with the financial situation, with the political situation worldwide. And we've been scrambling to maintain our health, even as so many of our natural resources have continued to be polluted. Not trying to depress you, but what I'm saying is that we're all weighed down and it's natural and it's okay. And I don't want you to feel, because some of us pressure ourselves to be really perfect or really fabulous or be just strong all the time, especially women and especially anybody who's leading a family, leading a business, or a leader of some sort, even just by being the older sister, the eldest sister or eldest brother. We are the ones who are moving people through. And so I wanted to come on because I was feeling, and I have a lot of energy, if y'all haven't noticed, but I was feeling a little like drained energetically before going to Key West, right? I was feeling drained. I knew what I wanted for 2026. I knew what I wanted to see and what I wanted to develop and envision for the future and what's already been building, right? At the same time, I felt like, oh my God, I don't have the energy right now. And again, that's a little rare for me because since I got on my thyroid meds because I have hypothyroidism, and since I gave up sugar, yes, hello. Oh, and it was easier than I thought because I wasn't really eating a lot of sugar to begin with. So I recommend if you're going to do it like slowly. Like I didn't have stuff that was sugary in my house except brown sugar for tea, right? And you know what? I'll sacrifice having a shitty tea with lemon that doesn't have brown sugar in it, knowing that I'm not feeding anything that doesn't need to be fed in my body, and also that the inflammation went down, right? And then the bonus was losing 20 pounds. So we can talk about that another day, but just saying, here I was with all these good changes, incredible breakthroughs, starting a second business this year, getting booked a lot, continuing with my first business, succeeding with Los Complicados, the Latino improv team in Pennsylvania, performing with six others, doing a million shows with friends, and doing my one woman show, and having a relationship and continuing friendships and keeping myself healthy somehow. Um, and all of you, you've got more going on. You've got kids going on. I don't have the kids, I have the stepkids. You've got maybe your parents who are older. Do we put them into a home? Do we not? What do we do for their health? So we are all dealing with so much. So, one of the things that I recommend for all of us is to try to get a little bit of time off. Okay, maybe you can't leave, maybe you can't travel. The reason I could travel is because it was work related. And so it's basically kind of a free-ish trip. And um, then honestly, even when I was away, people were like, what'd you do? What'd you do? And I went to a drag show, which was great. I went out to dinner, but I was like, I was in the pool. I was getting some sun. I was resting. Do you know what I mean? If you can't get away, which I totally get, this is a difficult time to get away alone, especially with family, kids, parents, the whole thing. I'm saying take a hot bath. I'm saying do a whole thing in the shower. I'm saying lock your room and take an hour. And I'm not going to give you work. I don't want you to have to be like, what do I feel and what do I want for 2026 and all that. Like, we can't get to that space of really putting our energy behind what we're wanting until we feel recharged. We could have all the dreams in the world, all the intuition in the world of what we should be doing, what are we going to be working on, the plan. Pero si la energía no está ahí, if the interior energy, and I'm not talking about body energy, right? I'm talking about your soul's energy. I'm talking about your emotional energy, the energetics of manifestation and the energetics of being able to put your whole self into it. And so I ask for you between now and the end of the year, if you could do a half a day where all the kids and everybody gets out the freaking house, if you could do a day where you and a bestie that's also peaceful drive out somewhere and just stare at the sunset, it's important for you to get at least an hour. And in that hour, I would say, don't think about what's next. Don't think about why am I feeling like this, whatever. Allow yourself to breathe, to be fully present, to be embodied. And we all do it how we can. Like I haven't been away all year. I think I got to the beach once for a day and a half, but it's been constant. And my summer was really crazy busy. And I'm planning on growing different areas of my life and my business, right? As we all are. And so even if you can get an hour, why? We all need undisturbed rest. We all need rest where we're not thinking about anything. When I was in the pool, I wasn't thinking about what do I have to heal? What am I developing? Oh my God, what am I doing next year? I was just like, oh, the water feels really good, right? So if you have access to a sauna, go sit there for as long as it's healthy to sit there. I don't know because I don't go to saunas. If you can sit and look at a sunset, look at a sunrise, the antidote to burnout or the verge of burnout is nature, is rest where you're not trying to figure anything out. And take that moment for yourself. And I mean, a lot of people have written about this, a lot of people are talking about it. It's been many years, especially during the pandemic. So many people did pause and rest, right? They were able to. I worked my butt off, bought a house and got married during that time. So all that craziness and, buried three, my mom, dad, and my brother. So it was a lot going on for me during that time. I've been able to slow down like in 2023, 24, then got busy again or busier. We do not have to go by anybody else's cycle. All we have to do is tap into ourselves. And sometimes we're the biggest culprit because we're like, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, guess what? If it was your mom or dad who needed your help, if it was your child, if it was your pet that suddenly had to go to a vet and you needed to run, well, you would make the time, right? And so you're just as important. So even if it's just an hour, even if it's an hour daily, even if it's a half hour, is it playing your favorite music and just listening and vibing to it? I, as a South Node in, actually Jupiter in Virgo, as the bottom of my chart, the IC is Virgo, right? And the top is Pisces. As having the IC in Virgo, I feel good when I'm productive. Like, guys, even though I'm a Taurus, right? And they're like, oh, you got to chill, relax. I don't even think it's about that. The Taurus is not about eating food and eating bonbons and hanging out. It's about the embodiment of peace. It's about the embodiment of self acceptance and self love. And so we talked about Taurus last time. Now we just had a new moon in Scorpio, right? The new moon last week is still in action. Once you get that hour, a half hour, the 10 minutes, whatever you need. And I'm not saying it's enough, like I'm not spiritually bypassing and I'm not nobody's fool. I know that sometimes we need more time. But even if a 10-minute break starts to set up a pattern for you, a new cycle where you're like, I'm going to take 10 minutes out of my day every day, or I'm going to take an hour, whatever it may be. It gets us into a new habit of not chasing productivity or feeling good because we're productive, but it starts to create a space where we allow ourselves, because we have to allow ourselves not to think of anything. In this modern world where we're constantly attached to this and everything else, where a lot of us are like that. So I didn't even honestly, like I listened to an Audible on the plane, and then I didn't even like read a book. I was like, I'm not processing shit, all right? I did lead a new moon circle online, and then I guided a new moon prayer and circle-ish with my friend and I on the beach under the darkness of the moon. And that was fine. And so I want you to promise yourself that you're going to get yourself a pause, even if it's sitting in your car for an hour before the kids come out of the school. You know your life. Get it in there somehow. And then after that, when you have time to journal, and look into, or you're going to know this anyway. You don't even have to journal, okay? Because we know we're the masters of we're the connoisseurs of our lives. We really are. Even if we're in denial, we know shit. Where you really say to yourself, okay, what patterns and cycles that are deeply anchored within me have functioned to get me to where I am right now? They brought me success. They brought me partnership, my children, my life, my this, my education. And what don't no longer serve? And like for me, I'm a giver, and I feel like because I do have a lot of energy, and I'm a human design generator, but I have a lot of energy anyway. Even when I'm sick, I have energy. It's like weird. And even when I feel like I'm dying, I still have energy. It's that motor, I guess. But what I'm saying is that because I always have a lot of energy and I feel like I have the direct connection to spirit all the time, I have sometimes put myself aside where I'm like, it's okay, they need me more. People need, like, somebody needs this, somebody needs that. And I think that of this new moon, I've really come to the point where I'm like, I need me. And I've known this and I've worked on it for the last 20 years as the older sister, Latina older sister, all that, the one who had to translate everything. But the thing is, this is like, if you're somebody who's very strong and you are like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, don't be disappointed that you can't. We were never meant to. Even trees in a tropical place go through their cycles. Like, we all have seasons, we all have cycles, and we have to honor them in order for us to be able to bear fruit, in order to manifest, in order to grow, in order to create deep roots and be grounded into our own lives and be embodied and healthy. And so it's important to look at. So I was like, sometimes I say yes when I don't want to. Sometimes I'm like over giving, going, well, I can take it. And so after a whole year of saying yes and running, because I wanted to do it, I had a lot of fun this year. I created a lot. Like, literally, I was in 5 short movies from July to October, right? Won a couple of awards, things like that locally. Was in so many shows, excited, loved every minute of it, and also created a second business. Now I'm like, okay, let me step back. And so if you step back and you allow yourself, let's close our eyes for a moment, take a deep breath in. And as you do, and this is just exploratory, so if you're driving, stop it now. But as you sit with your eyes closed, really feeling present, asking yourself, what is the place of rest in my life? Take a breath in. And then asking, what is the place of play in my life? Whatever answer comes through. What is the power that I've given my yes and my no to? Do I say no too many times and then I don't get to experience things? Do I say yes so much that I drain myself? And then taking another deep breath in and asking, what's a new habit? What's a new pattern that may truly serve me? It's a new habit or pattern that could truly serve me. Now, gently opening your eyes. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So I realized that I needed to think of nothing besides, when I did the work that I had to do. I answered some emails, but texts, but I didn't want to answer too many. And I cleansed myself every day. So if the new habit is cleansing, we have to clear the energy. So many people who know about energy don't take the time. And whatever that is it 3 breaths out? Is it lighting sage or another herb? Is it taking a shower? Is it taking a bath? Is it putting on music and dancing, doing our thing? Whatever it may be. But whatever it is, we do need something to clear, to release the energy that we're holding on to. Most of us hold on to it, hold on to it, hold on to it. And it packs a punch. Either it makes us gain weight, it doesn't let us sleep correctly, it makes us overeat or undereat. And so I ask you to give yourself a pause wherever you can. And once you've given yourself a pause where you feel even a little bit more restored, to sit down with the new moon in Scorpio. And we know we have like 5 planets in retrograde, including Mercury. When planets are in retrograde, it's about reviewing, reassessing, all of that, recommitting ourselves to what is true and good for us. And I've said no a lot more. and had to deal with my own FOMO, just so you know, because I like to do it all. And been working on my sleep. And so these are the things we can keep it simple from now to the end of the year because a lot's coming for us. We've got family gatherings, the end of the fiscal year, the end of the year, and then a New Year's beginning. We've got business strategies to create for people who have their own businesses, offerings. And so I wanted to communicate how important a break, even if it's built into your day small, will help you restore. And then to give yourself that deep time because every new moon is bringing in changes that are going to be affecting you for the next 6 months till we hit the full moon, right? The full moon next week, we're all going to breathe and be like, okay, what did I set up 6 months ago that already happened? How did it work out? What am I letting go of? And this new moon is what patterns brought me here and saved me or habits, but actually are not going to help me when I up level. We are retrograding, we are reassessing, we are reviewing. Now, there was a beautiful grand trine because the sun was in Scorpio, moon was in Scorpio, Saturn was in Pisces, and Jupiter's in Cancer. This is beautiful. When you have a water trine, it means a lot of intuition is flowing, a lot of spiritual help. So open your heart, ask for protection, ask for healing, ask for a break. Honestly, this trip was manifested, my friend and I talking about it and saying, we need a break, we need a break, we need a break. And it was manifested. And like I said, it was really paid for. And so we need to make some time to rest, then spend some time figuring out what doesn't work, and then adapting new things. Now, most of us think we need the tobacco that we're taking, the nicotine. Many of us think that we need the sugar that we're eating to keep us energetic. There's other ways of doing things. So don't rush yourself. But Scorpio, the new moon Scorpio really says dig deep and look at the heart of the matter. Where are you going deep to release what you need to release so you could thrive? And as we begin to come out of retrograde in the next month or so, right? We're going to come out with this new energy to be able to begin the 2026. And so I come back feeling very energized to kind of rebrand myself, to bring new offers that have not been out there. And so we can't know how we'll be coming out of our little breaks until we actually give ourselves the time. Because our brain can tell us what we need to do, but our body, mind, and spirit together have to show us and share and guide us in the way that we need. And sometimes we cannot access it if we're too wiped out or we're too weighed down. I wasn't so much as wiped out as drained. So I know it's different. I felt like I had been drained from some of the things that I had been surviving and dealing with. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this new moon in Scorpio that we just had last week, November um, 19th, November 20. It is the start of a new lunar cycle that will impact us the next 6 months, and it's considered a powerful time for transformative beginnings, emotional purging, and letting go of old frustrations. That's why I suggested the pause first and the rest, because when you start digging deep into new moon in Scorpio, you may, figure out and discover there's a lot of pain and sadness. Then in turn, we have to release and clear because we can't fill our plate with new food if we got a plate full of old food, right? This is the beginning of a new lunar month, and it is associated with archetypal themes of Scorpio, such as birth, death, rebirth, transformation, depth, emotional intensity. This new moon last week also coincided with several retrograde planets Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, a lot of them, which can bring about communication challenges, but also creates an opportunity to release built up anger, frustration, and as I said, review, reconnect, re envision. Now, what does it mean for all of us? It's an opportune time to start fresh, to initiate new projects, and to relate it to our personal transformation. The energies of this new moon are ideal for processing and letting go of lingering anger, hurts, and emotional burdens. And this may be sitting down and talking to a friend. This may be about dancing the night away. We have to process what's happened to us. It doesn't make us strong to keep shoving it down, shoving it down. It gets transmuted into disease sometimes, and we don't want that to happen. And again, I'm not saying that everything that we suffer from health wise is due to that. Sometimes it's genetic, etc. So I'm not an all or nothing person. There's multi-level reasons why anybody has an illness or suffering from something. The underworld, this is the underworld of the psyche energy because it's Scorpio, right? And that's why I was like, rest a minute, people, get a break before you have to tackle these things because it's deep, right? It's the underworld of the psyche, it's the underworld of all of our emotions, our subconscious. And it's the new moon that is encouraging introspection, deep dives. Oh, excuse me. Into our emotions to facilitate personal growth and rebirth. I think that I'm talking about, I'm already releasing, yawning is also releasing. The fixed signs were going to be hit hard here. Not in a bad way. We say the word hit, it's like, ugh. Okay, so the fixed signs are going to be caressed, right, and embraced. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. You're going to feel the effects of this new moon most strongly because it really represents a moment where we dig deep, we release things that just don't serve, and adapt to new things, dare to manifest new things, and move on with our personal evolution. And so just wanted to come in. I cannot state enough how important it is for us to really give ourselves a break first before we rush into the healing, you know, and to take a moment to really also celebrate yourself because we've done so much this year. And even if we say, well, I survived this year, well, that is something to celebrate. And so don't minimize your accomplishments. Look at them, respect them, give thanks for them, give thanks to your mind, your body, and spirit, right? For surviving all of the things that we survived. And then saying, what do I know I have to get rid of? And so we're on our journeys. So get your pause in however you can, build it into your schedule. If you can get away, you can. That's great, but that's rare. If you could just get away to the restroom and put on a shower or a bath, do that. And allow yourself to think of nothing. Allow yourself not to pressure yourself. Allow yourself that moment because we really need it. I think so many of us have just been charging through and walking through with all the things that have been hitting us, and we deserve a break. So, sending you all so much love and taking that break and allowing ourselves not to think is a true gift for ourselves in a world of overthinking, overdoing, or overthinking and underdoing, or overthinking, overdoing, and overwhelming. We need a break for ourselves in order to really assess where we're at and to close the gap from what we want to be experiencing to what we are experiencing. Okay, sending y'all so much love, mucho amor. Los quiero mucho. Oh, before I close, ¿qué me pasó? So, guys, I am running a special on 30-minute readings. So, my regular price is usually 150. I am doing a special for only this week. You could book it this week. You have to book it this week, even if you book it for next week. But even if you could do sessions Wednesday, actually, no, I'm busy Thursday and Friday. If you could book something for Wednesday, or you could book something for the next week, Monday and Tuesday, I'll give you the special. It's 150 for 30 minutes. I'm going to do sessions only, the special will only be up for like 2 or 3 days for $75. Okay, so if you wanted to do a session, you were like, it's a little too much for me, half an hour for $75, let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Llámenme, conéctense. You have to book it by the time I take it offline, even if you book it out for a month from now, but just book it before I take it offline. It'll only be online till Friday. I'm going to put it up today till Friday. Sending you all so much love. Un besito grande. Can't wait to see you in sessions. Let me know how this session hit you, caressed you, cradled you, and loved you. Mucho amor.